Hey folks, this is just a quick video to get you set up with one of the essentials that we're going to need, which is a really good text editor. So we're going to use a text editor to write our code. And there's lots of them around. If you Google text editors, you'll come up with a stack, and different people have got different opinions about what makes different ones good. But some of the features you're looking for in a good text editor are obviously syntax highlighting, so that it color codes different parts of your code, so it makes it a bit easier to read and work with. Something that offers some good auto code completion. Some of them have different features for that sort of stuff. Some extensions and packages to add features to them is good. Tabs, so you can have multiple files open in tabs. A live preview feature, particularly working with web stuff. You want to be able to preview without having to constantly going and running in a web browser. So something that manages that, and some good file and project management, because you're going to have lots of different projects going. So something that does those sorts of things is sort of what you're looking for. I'm really suggesting 3 possible options. We're going to explore 2 of them here, which I think are the best 2, and they are Adobe Brackets, Microsoft's Visual Studio Code, and Atom, the Atom text editor, which I'm not going to go through here because I think the other 2 are better. So this is Adobe Brackets, which you can download for free, brackets.io. You'll just get a download link, so you can go and download and then install that. And I'll have a look at some of those features in a bit. And the second one is Microsoft's Visual Studio Code, which has been around for a couple of years now and is also really good. Code.visualstudio.com will allow you to find it, and you'll get a download option for the operating system that you're working with. So if you go and download those and install them, it's not a bad idea to have a couple of different text editors installed on your machine. You can try each of them and decide which one you like the best. And sometimes you might be looking at 2 different projects to compare them, and it can be useful having one open in one text editor and another project open in another, so it helps you makes it easier to manage them. So it's not a bad idea. So go and download those and install them, and then we're going to have a quick look at each one. Okay, so once you've got each of these installed, you should see that you've got Visual Studio Code gives you an icon like this guy over here, and Brackets gives you an icon like this one. If we have a look at Brackets first, generally when you install and launch Brackets the first time, you get a bit of a welcome page with some information on it, which you can close. You don't need to keep that running. But a few of the setup things that we need to do, as well as exploring some of the tutorials online on the Brackets website, and also tons of stuff on YouTube as well. Some plugins, some extensions that I think are really useful. So over here on the right, there's this little Lego brick icon, looking icon over here. It's called the Extension Manager in Brackets. So if we click that to load it, so I'm going to give you a few extensions that I think are useful for you to have once those load. I'll go to my installed extensions. So you can see the ones that I've got. You can find all of these just by searching for them, and then once you've found the one you want, you'll have an install option. You'll just be able to hit install, and that extension will install. So these ones I think are useful. The Beautify.io extension gives you some auto formatting of your code, which can be really good. Brackets icons is another really good one. It gives you these nice icons on your files to help you differentiate different types of files is really useful. Bracket snippets probably not one that I'm going to recommend so much for you, but certainly copy as HTML is a really good one to have, particularly if you're using brackets and you want to copy code out to put into Word documents and things. It brings the syntax highlighting with you. So that's a really good one to have. You can get some themes as well. You can play around with those ones later on. Definitely the Documents toolbar is one that I think you would need to have if you're using brackets. And another one that I really like is this guy here called HTML Skeleton. So that's a really useful one as well. So if you install those particular extensions, you can pause this video and go back over those so that you get those. I think I gave you about 4 that are useful to have when we're talking about brackets. So if we're moving to Visual Studio Code, then if we launch Visual Studio Code, we get the startup page, and it too has some extensions that are really useful. This icon here, the little square inside the brackets, gives us our extensions manager. And I can browse through a whole load of extensions. I can search the extensions here like I can in brackets. I'm just going to switch mine to my installed extensions. So these are the ones that I think are particularly useful to have. You can explore others later on, but these ones are really good. The auto close tag extension automatically closes HTML tags for you, gives you a closing tag automatically, really useful. The Beautify extension that I spoke about before in brackets is also available in Visual Studio Code, so that's a good one to have. HTML tag wrapper is a good one. It allows you to add a HTML tag and wrap a bunch of other tags, or wrap it around a bunch of other tags. A little bit of a, if you're doing some editing. Live server is a good one. Spoke about live preview being a good feature for a text editor. Brackets has that built in. Live server will give you the same ability in Visual Studio Code. The project manager I think might be a default extension now in Visual Studio Code. If not, you can search for that and install it. And like brackets icons, this Visual Studio Code has an icons extension that gives you some nice pretty graphics on your different file names once you've installed it. So when you go to those, you'll get an install option, and typically once they're all done, I think you'll want to close or exit the program and reopen it so that it reloads to fully install all of those extensions. So you can stop this video too and go back through and take some time and get those extensions installed. Having done that, should have a text editor or a couple of text editors set up with some useful extensions that we can work with.